Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back. 2 weeks without a stream. Hopefully that's the longest I go in a long time, but we are back. And it's good to be back. Merry Christmas. Guess I'm 1 day late to all of you. And we're going to have some good streams this week. A lot going on. We're going to be talking about whether or not we might get a Santa rally. I know we didn't get like the pre-Christmas one. Maybe we'll get it now. We'll see. And before we get into all the trading stuff, we have a little gift. Shout out to Cheddar Freeze for putting this all together, and for all of you for voting. If you're in the Discord, you already know about this, but basically this year us as the mods decided to put together this award show, and all of you were able to vote. You had pretty much, I think, a few weeks to put in your submissions and vote for a bunch of different categories. So we're going to be doing those announcements right now. To help me with this, I actually have Zeke, who is going to be helping me with this, like I just said. Sorry, it's been a couple of weeks. And again, if you've not been in the Discord, Zeke is also going to be streaming as much as possible on the days that I don't, even though now I should be getting back to a much better schedule, 3-4 days a week for sure. But let's say there's a day here or there, just a week where I'm a little bit busy. Zeke will be doing some streams, so make sure you go check out his channel. It's right here in the Discord. Go subscribe to his channel. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. And he's already done a few streams if you want to go watch those to get his thoughts and everything right now. But let me hop into a voice call with Zeke. Maybe put this music down a little bit. And can you hear me, Zeke?
Yeah, what's good, bro? How you doing?
Good. Let me just put your volume up a little bit. All right, talk again.
Yo, what's up? What's up?
That should be good. One more time.
Test, test, test. How's that?
One last time.
Last time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
All right, that should be good. Welcome, Zeke. How have you been?
Been good. Had a nice little break. Spent some good time with the fam over the break. Relaxing weekend.
Yep.
Getting back to work tomorrow, and the market's open tomorrow too. So yeah, been doing well.
Very good. And what are your thoughts overall on just like the market right now?
I think we could be due for a little bit of a bounce. There's a little bit of a wedge that I've been watching on SPY. But yeah, I think if we can hold 380, I think that's like somewhat of a psychological level.
Yep.
I think if we hold that, maybe some optimism into the new year, we could get a bit of a bounce. But yeah.
All right, sounds good. Are you ready to get into this award show?
Yes, definitely.
All right, so I already put together a little bit of a slideshow because I didn't want to announce like all the winners just like one time, like with the picture. So we're gonna do it one by one, but the slideshow should be in order. And where I want you to come in is basically if you go up to that Discord mods chat, you should see like the full list of all the winners.
Yep. Yeah.
And basically, I'll have you just read them off one by one, and I'll kind of line up when I'm showing the slides while you do that. But I'll give you the cue. All right.
Sounds good.
So let me switch to my other overlay. That's the wrong overlay, but now you can see my face, everybody. All right, this should be good. and I'll just give it a couple of seconds for the people watching live to look around on the screen. All right, let's go full screen. So all of you had a few weeks to vote, and these are going to be the first trading, trader, Discord, mods, help, awards, however you want to put it, for the free trading movement. Thank you all for participating. We're going to get right into it. Zeke, what is our first category and who is the winner?
So the first category was most improved. And there was actually a 3-way tie, which is pretty crazy. Considering we had a good amount of votes, but just having 3 people tie was pretty cool to see. But we had AK, Ricari, and then this a little ironic, but myself as well, which I'm definitely thankful for. But yeah, big shout out to AK and Ricari. Definitely a lot of improvements this year. I definitely see a lot of more activity in the chat from them, so that's really cool to see. But yeah, those are the first winners.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I just want to say, since you're here on the call, congratulations. I do think that you've come a super long way. It's just crazy to see, ever since you got into the Discord, where you were at compared to where you are right now. Like, the improvement has been insane. I think everybody can agree that you've really put in the work. You've spent so many hours, and at this point, not only have you helped yourself learn a lot of new things, I know you're still learning just like all of us are, but I'm sure a lot of people will say the same, that you've helped so many other people out. So I think that's really awesome. I'm just kind of realizing this right now, but I wish we would have kind of gotten everybody, like all the winners, in a call, so we could have done like an acceptance speech for everybody, like how they would do it at like the Grammys or something. But I know you already did a little bit, but can you give us like a full out acceptance speech on what you think about how everything's going with the community?
Yeah, no, I love helping out. Like you said, I've definitely come a long way. But my favorite part of this, it's not actually a game, but like this game, so to speak, is that it's a never-ending journey. And there's always something that you can learn and improve on. So I try to do that every day and try to share with whoever's in the chats what I do know, and try to learn from other people as well. But yeah, I'm excited for the new year. Gonna make some new changes, see how that helps out. Hopefully get some more new members in. Yeah, just hope keep the grind going, Eventually it's gonna pay off, so yeah.
Definitely. And just, I already said it before, but make sure you go check out Zeke's channel. He's going to be streaming a lot more. The link is already in the chat. Also, it's been nice to see you on Twitter and Spaces. And we cannot announce it yet, but me and you both know that we also have something really cool coming up in the next couple of weeks. So everybody look forward to that. And yeah, let's move on to the next category. What is it and who are the winners? Or actually, this is the only one with multiple winners. Who is the winner?
So the next category is the most helpful mod. And the winner of that is Waffles, or Anna. Goes by Waffles but go by Anna in the Discord.
Yep.
But yeah, I definitely could agree with that. Definitely always active and sharing a lot of knowledge and information. Definitely wouldn't be the same without Anna.
Yeah, likewise. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes. We have conversations all the time that most of you do not see, or almost all of you do not see. And I'm going to just go by Waffles, but Waffles really puts in a lot of input. And one thing I really do appreciate, I'm sure that Waffles is watching this, is just you're very straightforward. A lot of people, I feel like, over the past couple of years have tried to like sugarcoat things with me to maybe get on my good side or just make a good impression. And I do obviously appreciate the respect. But I really also need people I'm 20 years old. I need people to kind of make sure things are moving in the right direction and that there's good opinions going around, because everybody thinks differently, and it's always good to have constructive criticism. So I really do appreciate all the help you've given me, Waffles, and I'm sure everybody else in the server as well. So congratulations on being the most helpful mod. Honestly, this is probably the most important category to me, I think, when it comes to the free trading movement. It's all basically thanks to the moderators that we are operating and functioning at the level we are at. I know we're not the biggest community, but in my opinion, for what I like and for the vibes that I have, it's the best community, at least for me. So I really do appreciate that, Waffles. Zeke, what is the next category and who is the winner?
Somehow, Waffles has won this again, but it is the most consistent and active member, and to be honest, I can't really disagree. Um, every morning posting
It's the
upgrades,
coverage, right?
downgrades,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, and news, current events, always sharing stuff. Also in technical trades, a lot of charts and knowledge shared there. So yeah, the next one is Waffles again.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it goes hand in hand. Not only just being a great moderator, but also being in the chats, talking to everybody, sharing his thoughts. It's just a lot of great communication. And when it comes to Discord server, that's probably or literally the most important thing, participating in the chat. So shout out to Waffles. To anybody who's not active in the Discord chat, I know it's been a rough year in the market. I know coming from me from the last couple of months, that's probably not it's probably not a great time for me to be saying stuff like this. I need to be doing better as well myself. But any of you can win this next year. So if you're looking for this award next year, you want to have a little bit of an acceptance speech. You got a year to be active and consistent in the chat. And I kind of ruined the next one, but I clicked on the button by accident. It's for me either way, so it's okay. Thank you all for voting me as the best swings. I'm going to be honest. It was very, very hard to alert swings this year where most stocks were going down, and I don't really share short swings. I think I did my best. There's room for improvement. There was good patches, bad patches. One thing I will say, obviously, a lot better returns in the past 2 years compared to this year. But the one thing I will say for this year is the risk management that I've learned over the past couple of years really came into handy, really came into help this year. I've talked about this a little bit before, but there's been a lot of weeks on the weekly sheet. If you don't know what that is, freetradingmovement.com, you can go find it there. I put out all the results of all my swings there. It's also shared in the Discord swing updates channel. But there was weeks during the bull market, there would be a couple of bad weeks here and there would be like 7, 8, 9, 10 stopped out swings on the sheet, just full of red during good times in the market. Of course, it was only on like the really, really bad weeks, and there wasn't many of them. And now we just had almost a full year of bad weeks, or not bad weeks, but just a bad market. And I really just was able to not force swings. And I know it might have gotten a little bit of dry, a little bit of boring, but honestly, if I were to put out a lot more swings, a lot of them, not because of me, but just because of the market, would have failed. So I tried my best. So, I love swing trading. I want to alert more swings to everybody. It's just not the environment to be doing in that right now. And I also, I guess, indirectly am teaching patience, even though there are things I'm working on to help cover that gap for when I cannot alert swings. So there is my little acceptance speech. Thank you again for voting for me. Zeke, what is the next category and who is the winner?
Category is the FTM MVP, and I think this one might be a little bit obvious to everybody, but the winner is Cheddar Freeze. Big shout out to her. It's unbelievable the amount of work and help that she puts into the Discord and the community. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. She is the GOAT. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Since literally the start of this server, Cheddar Freeze has been, I'm going to put it like this, the queen of the Discord. She has done an amazing job all around with literally everything. Just as much as I've put into this, she has put into this as well. The Discord probably would not be here. Like, definitely for sure would not even be here anymore if it wasn't for her. She saved it once or twice. I make mistakes sometimes. I can be stupid. And to me, she's just like a really good, it feels weird to say, but kind of like a role model that I look up to. And she's taught me a lot of lessons, and I really do appreciate everything that you've done, Chetta. I wish you and your family very happy holidays. Seriously, none of this would be possible without you. I can't say that enough. So thank you very much. And there's really nothing else to say. Everybody, I'm sure, agrees with this. It's the most straightforward award. The second I even saw this category, I already knew that she was going to take it. So who is the next category and winner, Zeke?
So the next category is the best options, I guess options trades, and that goes to Silent Dawn, which I would agree with. He definitely shares a lot. I think he mostly focuses on SPX and SPY, but yeah, just analyst in the Discord, drops a lot of knowledge and setups around that, and is very what's the right word? He's very like upfront and clear about what his trades and like kind of plans and ideas are, which not a lot of people do. So that is nice to see, because that not only keeps him accountable, but also shows a lot of people just kind of how focused and disciplined you do need to be. But I know I've definitely learned a lot from him, and yeah, big shout out to Silent
Yeah,
Dawn for
absolutely.
sure.
Silent Dawn, thank you very much. Options are not easy. It takes a lot of experience and time to learn them, and to be executing them on a good level. So shout out to you for putting in all the work. Make sure you pat yourself on the back and keep up the good work. What is the next category, and who is the next winner, Zeke?
So the next category is the FTM Wizard. This also goes out to Cheddar. She's just a goat. I think
Yep.
you can just leave it at that. I know everybody is aware and knows about what she does for the community, and I'm certainly thankful for it myself. But I'm sure that everybody else is as well. Yeah, it definitely just goes in line with everything we said for the MVP one. And honestly, we were making jokes about this in the mod chat that Cheddar would just sweep the entire awards. And she probably deserves all of them, but I think MVP and Wizard are definitely two that make a lot of sense for her.
Yeah, absolutely. She is literally a wizard with the charts. A lot of cool stuff. The ones that really amazed me this year was a lot of the white coffee ones that she shared. Just great charts. Probably, I'm not trying to have a big ego here, but apart from me, if I had to say anybody was like the best chart analyst in the Discord, I would definitely say it is her. I'm not trying to say I'm the best, but I would say that I'm up there. I hope so. That's kind of the goal of everything. But she is definitely at the top tier of that. So congratulations, Chetta. And then next up, I kind of spoiled this one a little bit. And it's great timing. Mehdi just joined the chat when I'm showing this one. The composite operator winner this year is the Lump. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not exactly sure what this award entitles. I think it's a little bit of a joke. And regardless, I think it's very fitting that the Lump won this with all the composite operator jokes that he makes. He's also made some pretty interesting predictions, some of which have worked out. I think Mehdi would say some of which have not worked out, but that goes for all of us. We've all had our good calls and bad calls. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this, Zeke?
Honestly, I thought this was gonna go to Cheddar. We always say that she's the comp op secretly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would agree. I think it's fitting for the Lump as well.
Absolutely. Congratulations on being the composite operator, I guess, Lump. So who is the next winner of the next category?
And final category is the winner for best memes, which also goes to Waffles. He definitely puts in a lot of work into some memes that he shares. I would say he's the most consistent in sharing them, and just makes me laugh a lot for sure. And sometimes, especially during this year, in the market environment we've had, it's definitely nice to have a jokester around in the community, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. Trading can get very stressful and serious sometimes, so I think it's very important to have a community of people in which can just help entertain you out throughout the day, because I feel like if a lot of us were just doing this by ourselves, not talking to other people, it would just make it a lot tougher. I think it's great that there's a place where all of us can come together and even talk about stuff outside of trading, but with other traders, and just share relatable posts and stuff. So it just helps keep the vibes good. Honestly, I think it helps trading. If you're less stressed and you just kind of getting to see fun stuff throughout the day, it helps you not take things too seriously and just enjoy the craft of trading. So shout out to Waffles for winning that category. And those are your 2022 Free Trading Movement Award winners. If you want to maybe be a part of this next year, and definitely all of you can be a part by voting, but if you want to maybe be up on this board next year, start sharing more stuff in the chats, start sharing your opinions on charts and stocks and whatever it is. Maybe you will be up here with some of us next year. If you're not in the Discord, the link is in the description, also on the screen. Discord.gg/free trading movement. Thank you all for voting on this once again, and shout out to Chatter Freeze for putting this together. Zeke, thank you for the help with the announcements. They're going to be hearing a lot from you very soon about a lot of other different things, so I look forward to that, and I wish you a happy holidays.
Sir, yep. You too, brother. Sounds
Have
good.
a good
No
one.
problem. You too, man. Peace, guys.
Bye. All right, so there we go. That was your award show. Honestly, I could have timed that a little bit better. I know I didn't even announce I was going to be going live tonight, just kind of out of the blue. I'm like, hey, I'm back. But I don't want to like just say like, oh, I'm going to be live again and then just like maybe miss it and like whatever. I just wanted to just go live, surprise some of you, and then just build it from there, because I know it's going to take some time to get that consistency back, to get all of you on the same schedule as me. Again, I'm sure a lot of you are going to be watching the replay instead of live tonight. So that is all good. It's been a while since I've given my opinions on a lot of these charts, so I'm going to be doing a little bit of a run through of everything. Make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button if you have not already. Let's get started with the crypto. Let me put the music back up a little bit. Got some Christmas lo-fi music on. All right, so let's get started. Bitcoin is literally looking the same. It hasn't done much in the past couple of weeks. Looks like it went up to test this previous low from June as resistance. That failed, and now it's back under. I just view all of this as one consolidation between 15.5K and almost 18K. So until it breaks out of this little zone, I'm just kind of looking away from Bitcoin. There's just not much of a pattern, not too much going on. Ethereum, kind of the same thing. It's just really using this blue zone as like a magnet. It goes above it, it goes below it, but always ends up coming back. So yeah, this was resistance in June, support in October, and now you're just using it as both resistance and support. So just consolidation mode for crypto right now. I think after such a large sell-off, it's going to take time for people to digest things. There's just not a lot of heads turned towards crypto right now. But as we've seen in the past, you can get these super long periods of just droughts in attention and price action. And then out of nowhere, something happens and you can get the craziest of moves that you might not even see in the stock market. You definitely haven't seen the types of moves you've seen like this that quickly in the stock market. So I'm sure this market will come back to life at some point. It's just waiting until then. But it is good to always just kind of turn your eye to it every once in a while to be ready for when the variables do start to change. Moving on to other markets now, the US 10-year. I charted this a few days ago, but it did break out of a little bit of a wedge. If you were watching the streams back then, when we were up over here, I was pretty bearish on it, and I kept saying I think 3.5% is that next level. You pretty much sold off to that level, broke out of a wedge, and now you're continuing higher. At this point, I would just say it's in a short-term uptrend. I think it's too short-term to be calling this a bear flag or anything just yet. So right now it's just a wedge breakout playing out. Next up, we have crude oil. I'm going to redraw this chart a little bit and just look at this as a little bit of like a larger wedge or down sloping channel. You did end up bottoming around $70 and you're running back up to test 81.50 resistance. Moving into metals, gold is slightly consolidating above the 200-day moving average. Pretty decent breakout taking place here. If it can continue higher, I'd say 1876 is about the next resistance point for gold. And then its brother silver is pretty much in the middle of a range. Support is around 21.22 and resistance is around 25.26. The dollar currency index is continuing lower. It is at a support back from June right now, and you probably have a little bit of a wedge developing here. So it's not horrible, but if this support does break down, I don't see much support until about 101. And then finally, for other markets, the Hang Seng Index has spent the last couple of weeks just walking the line at the 200-day moving average. So it's just continuing to test that. So those are the updates on your other markets. Moving into the stock market now, my opinion has changed a little bit. For the last streams I was doing, I was pretty bearish up in this area. There was just a lot of resistance, low volume, a double top rejection, 200-day moving average, this resistance trend line. And unfortunately, I wasn't live for 2 weeks, so I couldn't keep patting myself on the back about being right about that on the stream. But you did, in fact, get the sell-off off that level. So now let me talk about where we are at right now. I think it's a little bit of wishful thinking, but it seems to me like a little bit of a potential inverse head and shoulders is forming for the SPY heading into next year. So for right now, it doesn't mean a lot, but it is a decent start. You did get a bullish engulfing candle on Friday. I think the market was open. Market was not open today, but it will be open tomorrow. And on top of that, you have a little bit of hidden bullish divergence developing on the MACD. So if we can continue to start curling here, I think that would be great. It sets us up for a higher low within a downtrending pattern, which is this very large descending broadening wedge. If any low can be solidified above the low of this year at 347, we are therefore shifting the trend within this pattern. That would kind of be like, I wouldn't say like a double partial decline because we already have the partial decline. But just like, even though I was saying right over here that I did not think we were going to break out if we were to, when we were testing that area, I just thought there was too much resistance despite there being a partial decline, which should have given it a 75% chance of breaking out. I was like, I think it's maybe even less than a 50% chance of breaking out up over here. I will say at this point, if we do get back up to test this, at least soon, and by soon I mean within the next month, I think we actually could break it. So I don't know. If we can get back up to these areas, then I would say that a breakout could happen. I just think it's a higher likelihood because then we could break out a little bit under the 200-day moving average and this resistance. Like if it were to be somewhere over here, I just think it would be easy to break out of the pattern, and then maybe that pattern breakout could give us the steam to propel the market back above the 200-day moving average and that 410 resistance that SPY has been under since pretty much August. Just to play devil's advocate here, if you can't hold that and you break under this zone again, this is like the major zone. This is kind of like, it's not the literal floor for the stock market, but for me, in my eyes, it is. If you break that, then I think the stock market is going down to the basement level. All right. That was pretty much your highs in fall of 2020. It flipped into support this year. You had a little fake out under it for one day, like really under that zone during the morning, but you ended up closing back above. That shows me that such a large amount of buyers wanted to protect this level, and since we got back above it since October 13th, we haven't even flirted with breaking back under that level. So as long as we can continue holding above 358, you have room for this inverse head and shoulders to develop and eventually a breakout of this descending grounding wedge. All the things I'm talking about right now are more midterm, like 2-3 weeks out. I'm not talking about like, I'm not saying just because of this whole entire week is going to be nonstop straight up. I'm just saying overall, the daily chart, in my opinion, is shifting back to bullish, and this is the risk level 358. Moving down to lower time frames, on the 4-hour, you can see the continuation of selling off after you broke down from that wedge I was talking about in my final streams before I left. And right now, you are pretty much bouncing right off of a 1-hour gap fill level. I did share this in the trading chat in the Discord if you want little updates like that when I'm not streaming and when I take breaks, which should not be too frequent anymore. That's going to be in the Discord, discord.gg/free trading movement. The link is in the description. And since then, you've been rallying up. You do have a gap fill upwards around 385 now, which lines up with some resistance, as you could see from highs over here. And even over here, I did see Zeke mention it in the chat. You also have a little 1-hour wedge that you just broke out of. So it's not a bad setup going into the week. I think resistance is lined up around 385 if we can continue a little bit higher. It's too perfect of a double top to be an actual harmonic pattern, but let's say it wasn't. It's kind of like a bullish shark as well that's also playing out. Your PCC just happened to line up at that gap fill level. So who knows, maybe you get up to this little resistance over here, then you go down for the double bottom, which would be the type 2 reversal of the bullish shark. That's possible as well, but your short-term level to defend is definitely 375, which is our most recent low. However, even if you do break that, you have this major support zone that I was just talking about on the daily chart just under you. So there's a lot of support to protect you in the next couple of weeks, and as long as no bad news comes out, you could see some natural price action get you back up to retest resistance. I don't know about 410 just yet. You just rejected that twice very harshly, but maybe at least some of these zones that you can see that I've drawn out over here on the 1-hour chart. So those are my thoughts on the SPY overall right now. Moving into the VIX, just to look at it on the flip side, you're getting like your third bottom off of 1950, kind of your fourth one actually in this year. Fourth or fifth bottom at the same exact level. On the weekly, you can kind of see that that is the bottom of a range. So this is the only part which is different to me. If you do start reversing off the bottom of the range like you did for the last 3 or 4 times, then it would probably not let that inverse head and shoulders I just talked about on the SPY play out. So what you would need in turn for that to play out, for the curl to start happening to get back above resistance and break out of that descending grounding wedge on the daily, would be a breakdown of this range. It would be a new trend, and what better could we have to welcome a new trend than a new year? So I don't know, maybe just the seasonality of that could help. We will see. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of big money doing things this week because of taxes and everything, it being the final trading week of the year. So we will see, but that's pretty much how the VIX is looking right now. It's just hoping that this breaks under 19, which it hasn't done pretty much all year. But if it does do that, that would set us up in a new little phase for the market, in my opinion. Moving on to the Qs. This one's a little bit different. I don't know. I think it's already kind of back to retesting its lows. This dates back to 2020 in September. You bounce off of this level after a pretty rough sell-off for the first couple of weeks of September. You had a huge bounce off this level. You ended up bouncing around here in June of this year, and October and November. So the upper 250s, lower 260s is the zone for the QQQ. It's already kind of at it. The SPY is really not at its support zone yet. The Qs kind of already are. So it's just hoping that you hold above that. But if we're going to zoom out here, I'm not going to lie. These are the vibes that I'm getting. Like just a massive inverted cup and handle. So you better hope that you hold 258, because if you break that, then I don't think there's much room until like 238, which is pretty much your pre-COVID high, and this little low from the summer of 2020. That's what we're talking about after that. And I don't know, after such a massive cup and handle, if it were to break down, I don't even know if you'll be able to hold that level. That might send you down to the next level, which is literally 195, all right, which are your two highs from 2019 right over here. So just for reference, if this blue zone of support breaks, which is this neckline for this inverted cup and handle, apart from this pre-COVID support, there's about 27% more room to the downside until your next major support after that. There is just really nothing over here. It was straight up and then straight down and then straight up. So really all you have if this breaks down is one little pre-COVID high support level. That's like the scarier part of things. So that's something I do want to keep in mind. We're not really worried about that unless we break under 258, but you have to remember that's only, I mean, in this type of crazy volatile market, that's maybe only 1 or 2 bad days of 5% decline, which sounds crazy, but it's just how things are now. So it is something to watch out for, but it's not something we need to be worried about just, I mean, maybe be a little bit worried about it, but not something that's like happening just yet or ever. Who knows? Maybe we just literally bounce here and this is our bottom. We just want to accept the possibility of that happening as well. And then moving on, we have the Russell 2000. Really all I'm looking for is holding above. I'm going to extend this zone actually a little bit. Holding above this zone. It's a pretty large zone. It was your resistance in 2020 and 2018. And then it flipped into your support so far this year. It's pretty much 164 to 174. You're back in that zone. You're testing it once again. It's all about holding this. If you break under it, then you've got a gap fill around 156 after. It's kind of like this next zone, like right over here. But again, just like I was talking about on the QQQ, if you break this major support, minor supports might not mean a lot. It might send you much lower. So these are pretty much the floors that the market has created throughout this year. We're pretty much testing these same exact floors once again going into the new year. And I think our reaction off of this could set us up for the first couple months of the year. We break down from these major zones. It's your continuation of the bull market, potentially. We hold these zones, we bounce off them. It could be what gets us out of this bear market. Because that's going to be not once, not 2 times, but 3 times the market holds the same exact level. That would give a lot of confidence to a lot of investors, in my opinion, just from a psychological standpoint. So those are some of the levels I'm watching. One thing that is very different, though, that has already broken its floor for the year is the ARK ETF. Its final major support that dates back to 2019 has broken. You tried holding it really since you got down to this level in October. We had like 4, 5, 6 bounces off of it. And over the past couple of weeks, I haven't talked about it yet, but you have broken that. So as long as the ARK is under 34, 33, which was your lows from March of 2020, yes, you are under your COVID crash lows for growth in mid-cap stocks. This bear market is worse than the lows of the COVID crash at this point for those types of stocks. So just how destroyed a lot of people were during the COVID crash, a lot of people are still not just that much destroyed, but even worse who are in those types of names. So this is my worry for the Qs and the SPY. This happening. It's already happened on the ARK ETF. However, the ARK ETF has already underperformed for like the last 2 years almost. Pretty much since like the GME, AMC stuff was happening is when all those types of stocks started turning around up over here. And it took the market pretty much up until like over here to top out. So those types of stocks topped out right here. And then the Qs and the SPY topped out like when the ARK was already down here. So we will see what happens with those. So those are my thoughts overall on the market. One sector that does look a little bit interesting to me heading into this week, and I want to do some scanning on it tomorrow morning, is energy. We did see energy outperform a lot earlier this year when the market was really selling off. Energy was kind of the sector shining. And you had a rejection off of 92, which is your highs from 2022, and I think something that dates back like way more. Yeah, 2008. You pretty much rejected your highs from this year and 2008 during the Great Recession. But now to me, it looks like you're forming a little bit of a bull flag for the energy select sector. Also, you got a MACD cross over to green, and volume has been declining on this sell-off, so there's not a lot of selling volume here. You also just got your highest close since like December 5th in almost a month. So energy is something I will be keeping an eye on overall this week. Now let's move into individual names. The only swing that's outside of premium on the sheet right now is Fisker. It's been that way for a long time. It's just been consolidating. In terms of how Fisker is looking right now, it's still making higher lows. All right, I know there was that short report from like Fuzzy Panda or whoever. It did increase this off a little bit, but you had a nice couple of days towards the end of last week, or the beginning of last week actually. And then you're just kind of consolidating here. So to me, it's still okay as long as you hold above these set of lows. Not too much to worry about. And if you can't do that, the stop of the swing is right there. It's just hopefully you can get back above $8. At this point, Fisker is really as simple as this. Short term. That's your resistance, and this is your support. Which one breaks first, we will see. But that's literally as simple as it is for Fisker. Now I want to talk about some large caps before I get out of here. Starting off with Tesla. I warned about this on the weekly. That massive head and shoulders is currently playing out. This was your neckline kind of over here. You broke down from it, and since you broke down from that massive head and shoulders, you've just seen really a obliteration of this stock. You know, Elon's been all over the news for a lot of different things as per usual, and Tesla has been very sharply selling off. It's been selling off for a while, but really this stretch over here, it's been about 3 weeks of straight downside for Tesla. Just, it is getting obliterated right now. In terms of support, you actually are approaching a little bit of support. It's nothing major, but you can see these highs over here and lows from the fall of 2020. You have that, and then under that you have 91, and then it comes down to like gap fills. You got a couple of gap fills over here, another level over here, but you can see when a stock gets hit like this and it went up so quickly at the same time, it can come down very quickly. There's just not a lot of levels, but you are finally starting to approach some. I think after it broke under this level is kind of when it lost it. It had a little bit of a gap fill here, it wasn't able to hold, so it's just at this point level by level for Tesla. Apple is something I am keeping an eye on going into this week. It is retesting lows of the year. It also kind of printed, you want that buy to be a little bit smaller, but very close to a bullish pin bar candle at these lows. I think 128, 129 is a very key level for Apple. It was even this high over here on March 3rd of 2021. This is an important level, not just for Apple, but for the market, because it does move the indices quite a bit. So keep an eye on that. AMD is back under that huge green inflection zone. It's working on making a higher low with hidden bullish divergence. So it is something to keep an eye on, but there's not much major support until pretty much $59, which is its resistance from the summer of 2020, which is kind of where it did reverse around the first time. But to me, it does look like, if we were to draw a supply line here, that it is back under the supply line of this wedge. So it's still in a wedge. If it can somehow make a low above that $59, $58 level and break back out of the wedge, maybe it takes you back up to retest this resistance zone that it just failed to hold above. And then moving on, let's look at Google now. Also kind of similarly retesting lows of the year. This is a support area because you can see this consolidation from the end of 2020. This is your very important zone for Google. I'm telling you, it looks crazy, but almost all of these large caps to me are looking like inverted cup and handles. And if they play out, that's gonna be our next like depression for the stock market. That's probably not the best word to use, but I mean, we're talking about 2-year-long bearish patterns on the most heavily weighted stocks in large cap indices, or just the main indices that people refer to the stock market as, the NASDAQ and S&P 500. These all have heavy weightings in those indices, and they are showing 2-year-long bearish patterns, and they are at the point of testing breakdowns. So this is the do or die area for the stock market from a technical standpoint. After already selling off so much this year, this is the area in which we will probably be able to find out in the next couple of weeks whether we continue or whether we reverse. do these break down or do they not? And a lot of these stocks look like the same exact thing. Moving on to Amazon, it is testing already COVID crash lows. All right, it did not hold up like a lot of other tech stocks. You're already back to COVID crash lows. This is also your final support for a while. Not only was it your COVID crash low, it was June of 2019 and October of 2019 lows as well. If you really zoom in, it was kind of lows from July of 2018. On the weekly, that's your last major final support until down around $68. So big level for Amazon as well. Meta, it's doing okay. It's not really been selling off like the others, so it's kind of hanging in there, but of course it was one of the worst performers already throughout the year. It's all about 123, whether or not I can get back above that level, which was a low from December of 2018, and it just double topped there. So it's just kind of creating a little bit of a zone right here for right now. And then final one I'm going to be looking at tonight is Microsoft, which rejected the 200-day moving average. I'm going to delete these older patterns now because they've already played out. I'm going to draw a supply line over here. You can see that was rejected. Very similar to the indices. You've got this down sloping wedge. You're not really at anywhere right now. You've got a gap fill around 228, and then a fat breaks 213 next, and then your resistance is this blue zone around 250. So those are your levels on large caps. Keep an eye on all of them. The reason I really am focusing on large caps right now and not looking at a lot of small caps and mid caps is because for the overall direction of the market, these are the stocks that are going to be moving the indices, in which people are going to be relating to this overall bear market for the stock market. All right, so these are the stocks that are moving what we were looking at the overall stock market as in terms of popularity. They are not the whole entire stock market, but they are pretty much what the media is going to cover as the stock market. And they are heavily underperforming, and small caps, mid caps for the last 2 years have already been underperforming. So that's just where we are at right now. That's my little comeback stream. It was a very light stream tonight. I just want to ease back into things. Thank you for watching the stream. Join the Discord, links in the description. Just one little reminder, the Christmas sale for premium will be ending tomorrow. If you want 20% off, this is your time to do it. The coupon code is Christmas at checkout for both monthly and annual. I think it's like $75 off annual or something like that. And annual is already 30% cheaper than monthly. So if you want that, it's the pin chat link is also in the description. And make sure you watch the free course as well. I'll be live very soon, most likely tomorrow night, but we'll see. But definitely 3 to 4 days this week. And if I'm not, maybe Zeke will be able to fill in. So have a great night. Thank you for watching the stream. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and peace out.